Gather round, one and all, while we once again recount the tales of old. Tales of heroes and home, tales of legends and power, tales of Elaria. Eldora, the Oracle of Elaria, walked through the wide expanse of the gathering. The people had come together under the eternal sunlight in the luminous plains to celebrate the Day of Harmony. It was fast approaching, and a vast encampment had formed, tents and wagons dotting the landscape. Yet, within that unity, a vibrant spectrum emerged, a testament to each region's unique spirit. A young aquamarine woman, her blue sash shimmering with embedded seashells, gestured animatedly towards a collection of fire-resistant pottery.
Finest clay from the highlands.
The Ignaran craftsman grunted, his red leather cuffs gleaming with polished obsidian. A Terralyn child, her necklace of forest green gems catching the sunlight, tugged at the sleeve of a Zephyrim elder.
Look! They're like dewdrops!
The storm gray feathers, woven in the elder's hair, rustled as he leaned closer, his eyes crinkling in a smile. Nearby, a Frigori warrior, his ice crystal pendant casting a cool shimmer, stood stoically beside an Umbrian scholar, whose purple and black trim seemed to blend with the shadows beneath a large tent. The Umbrian wrung his hands, his gaze darting nervously across the crowd.
The omens, they grow stronger with each passing day.
Hearing these words, Eldora paused.
The shadows lengthen, even in this light. The Guardians are our shield.
Her gaze lingered on the Frigori for a moment, noting his impassive demeanor in comparison to the scholar next to him. There was a flicker of something deeper that she could sense, but now was not the time to address it. Today was a day to celebrate and recall the past. Tomorrow would be a day to prepare for the future. She continued to the center of the congregation of Elaria, where a platform had been quickly erected from the combined efforts and materials offered by many. She took her time climbing the steps, her staff tapping all the way to the top. As the Oracle, it was her duty to not only give guidance in regard to the days to come, but to remember and record their past. She was their fortune teller and their historian, a soothsayer and a speaker to the people. One of her most important responsibilities was testing and choosing the next generation of Guardians. Their time was soon approaching, and the Day of Harmony allowed Eldora to sense the presence of viable candidates. While everyone in Elaria bore a small spark of a gift from Solara, some had an extra helping of this light within their soul. Of these, even fewer would be chosen based on their character and mettle. She thought about the individuals she had noticed and spoken with in passing today that she felt were ready for those first trials. One young Ignaran man specifically came to mind, and she could only lightly smile and shake her head. He would make a fierce guardian of fire, but he would have to work on his temper. A fitting stereotype, she thought with a wry smile. She reached to the edge of the platform and paused to look across the massive gathering. There were hushed whispers and excited expressions as the crowd drew their attention to the Oracle.
Today we remember.
Eldora paused, her gaze sweeping across the crowd, establishing her authority. Silence rolled out like waves, the people listening to every word.
In days long past, the land of Elaria was wrought with chaos. The vast evil known as Umbrian ran rampant and feasted on our people's souls with gluttonous abandon.
Eldora's voice deepened, a hint of sorrow in her tone. She gestured with her staff, emphasizing the destruction. A collective shudder ran through the crowd. Some of the younger people exchanged worried glances, their hands fidgeting with their white robes.
The great being Solara, the guardian of harmony, took pity on our plight and descended from the heavens. On that day, a battle of epic proportions ensued between darkness and light.
Eldora raised her hands as if invoking Solara's presence. Light seemed to emanate from her, the origin point being the rough gemstone on the end of her staff. A collective gasp and murmurs of awe rolled through the crowd. Some looked up towards the sky, envisioning the battle.
Umbrathar saw that he would soon be defeated. As the final blows were struck, Umbrathar caused Solara to fall into a deep slumber. Before she fully succumbed to sleep, Solara sealed Umbrathar away in the depths of the earth. Her final act was to scatter fragments of her power to our people, granting those who received these gifts blessings of power to protect us from the remnants of Umbrathar's minions.
Eldora lowered her head, a moment of solemn respect. She then raised her hand again, as if scattering the fragments of power. There was a moment of quiet reflection. Some placed a hand on their hearts, others grasped for their regional tokens, a silent acknowledgement of their shared history.
On that day, we bore witness to the beginning of the Guardians.
Eldora gestured towards the current Guardians who stood at the edge of the crowd. A ripple of applause and cheers came from the congregation. The Guardians acknowledged the people with nods and smiles.
Generations have passed, and Solara yet remains asleep. Signs of Umbrathar attempting to return from imprisonment have been seen, but our guardians have held the darkness at bay. But for how much longer? We honor her sacrifice and pray for Solara's awakening so that harmony may endure. So let us celebrate. Let the drums beat and the songs rise.
A wistful smile touched Eldora's lips as she watched the people she had shepherded for so long celebrate. She looked down to the old Guardians. This marked their final day of harmony as Guardians, a chapter closing like the setting sun. They each acknowledged her with a slight nod before turning to join their people, their eyes lingering on the faces they had sworn to protect. Eldora thought about the trials the new Guardians would face. Trials born of a darkness unseen for centuries. A chill that seemed to linger even beneath the warmth of the eternal sunlight. But they would be ready. She would forge them in the fires of trials until they were unbreakable.
That was Casey Brewer as the Ignaran Craftsman, GhostieVO as the Terralyn Child, Randall Pollard as the Umbrian Scholar, Laura Bartlett as Eldora the Oracle, and Ryland Stevenson as the Narrator. The main theme is by Ikhwanudin Aji Purnomo on Pixabay. Other songs by Andorios from Pixabay, Ovrsoull from Pixabay, and woesoferas. Story written and produced by Randall Pollard. Find links to everyone's socials in the description below. Thank you for listening to Guardians of Elaria, Day of Harmony.